Hello to you once again. So, police officer Sergeant Anny Peter from the Mangaung Family Violence, Child Protection and Sexual Offences Unit was tasked with finding a rapist who was 6 years on the run. And she did. She arrested a 24-year-old rapist, Vuyisile Jackson Mamokgwe, who will now be serving 32 years behind bars for raping women and children. Mamokgwe was linked through DNA to 4 rape cases between 2017 and 2023. And it's great to be joined by Sergeant Peters this morning. Sergeant Peters, a very good morning to you. Thank you very much indeed for your time. It really is a pleasure speaking to you. So, Vuyisile Jackson Mamokgwe was sentenced to 8 years for each rape case, and I understand that will not run concurrently. He's, of course, been declared unfit to possess a firearm and is also going to be added to the register for sex offenders. Do you believe that is enough justice for the victims?
Griselda, as I have also greeted you and all the viewers at home, to me, I was not happy. I did even consulted with the magistrate and the senior prosecutor. I was expecting 4 life imprisonment when it comes to this case of Mamokgwe, because really he deserves to be sentenced to 4 life imprisonment.
I mean, I want to go back to, I can sense your disappointment, with the court's decision, and I think many would agree with you. I mean, let's start here also. You'd been tasked with finding the serial rapist that had been on the run. Let's start at the beginning.
Yes.
What information were you giving, and why were you given? And why did you even agree to take up this case?
Griselda, if I can shortly say, I was nominated to be part of the tasking team of the DNA in Free State, particularly in Bloemfontein. I'm one of the females in this tasking team. These 4 decades were allocated to me due to my dedication. I think my commander believed in me because I also proven myself to be competent in terms of investigating such cases. And also, my colleagues also believed in me to say, Kenya, this is the very good person to can continue with further investigation in these matters. And also, I guaranteed to my commander that I will truthfully and successfully get positive results in terms of this suspect.
I mean, he'd been 6 years on the run, and he could have been anywhere. Talk to us about, the challenges that you had to face during that for someone who'd been on the run, a serial rapist that had been on the run for 6 years, and, how you had to go through this investigation in order to crack this case, to get him arrested, and finally get justice for the victims.
Griselda, if I can say, with this case, I received this case in July 2023. I was only having, I was only having DNA results. I was only having the names of the suspect and physical description according to the victims. It was very difficult for me to trace this suspect. But through our investigative methods that I've used together with my colleagues, TRT approach, we sat down, we strategized on how are we gonna approach this investigation moving forward.
Yeah.
You can imagine I was working with a homeless suspect that I don't even know. And remember, according to the victims, this suspect was having dreadlocks at the time of commission of crime. It was very difficult, but through our community, that helped me as well, because I couldn't have done it without our community. I managed to trace this suspect down and apprehend him, making sure that he appears before the court of law. And also, I made sure that I successfully opposed bail. So, yes.
Sure. And just listening to what you're telling me is that you only got onto this case in 2023, and already so much has been done. He's been apprehended, he's been sentenced. I mean, without divulging, of course, the tactics that you as police officers use, talk to us about the day of the arrest. This was someone whose appearance, I'm sure, definitely had changed from the identikit that you had, making it incredible. I mean, years had passed. So talk to us about the day of the arrest and what took place there.
The day of the arrest, Griselda, it was the morning. I can't remember the date vividly.
Yeah.
It was in the morning, and then the suspect was apprehended, and I did assure the victims because I had to trace them first. After tracing these victims, that morning, I remember when after the suspect was arrested and detained, I called my victims. I told them the very best and good news. They were so happy. They were so happy. I don't want to lie. And the only feeling that I had on that day is that Mamokgwe didn't show any remorse. At first, he didn't show any remorse. He was even telling me that he had committed 15 rape in Bloemfontein. Bloemfontein, he only committed 15 rapes. So I was like, really, this guy is telling me that he has committed 15 rapes, and I'm sitting here with 4 dockets. So it gave me an impression of saying that there are still outstanding dockets whereby victims didn't report these matters. On the day of arrest after detention, he told me, you know what, Sergeant Peter, I think this is the road, this is the end of the road for me. I have been doing all these bad things to the community, but I think this is the end of the road. I'm going to comply with each and everything that you need from me. I'm going to confess with all the cases, with all the charges that you put upon me. And then, yes, I made sure that the confession is being obtained by our specialized officer. And I took the docket to court for prosecution to continue. And then, yes, our victim was so impressed. I arranged an ID parade whereby all the victims were called upon to can identify. The positive thing that I liked about these witnesses, even though the case was reported a while ago, they could still identify the suspect through ID parade that was held in Mangaung. So yes, the suspect, the accused person knew that the evidence that I have, that I can produce in front of the court, he doesn't have any choice but to plead guilty. And I think his lawyer also advised him to say, no, you must just plead guilty, because he knows very well that the court was going to be lenient to this accused of ours.
You spoke about more than the cases that he was convicted for. So obviously, besides these 4 cases, you know, that he's been sentenced for, is there a possibility of continuing an investigation to perhaps, clearly there were other victims. You say he told you about 15 rapes that he had committed just in the Bloemfontein area, which clearly tells me he was sentenced for what was far less than the crimes that he actually committed.
That's true, Griselda. This suspect committed such cases in Bloemfontein. So after receiving such information, I made sure that I go to media to do awarenesses. Remember, our unit is the unit that deals with sexual offences. So we went to several media platforms to can spread this information of saying our people must come forward. Remember, and we are also able to can trace down the suspect or the case that happened a while ago. We can crack down a case that was reported even when you were young, but then we're still appealing to our community can come forward to make sure that this suspect doesn't go for 32 years, but he get what he deserves. So yes, if our community can just come, they know who they are and they must not feel bad about what happened to them, because to be raped is not a choice. You didn't choose to be raped. So yes.
Sergeant Peter, thank you very, very much indeed. And congratulations. They often say you don't congratulate a fish for swimming, but I know you do this in service of our people. And I really want to say thank you very, very much. I think on behalf of, in particular, women who these crimes are perpetrated and children that are perpetrated against every single day. Thank you very much for your service. And congratulations for the work that you've put into this. I must say we're incredibly proud of you. Thank you very much indeed. Sergeant Anny Peter, we're speaking to her. She'd apprehended, a serial rapist, a 24-year-old Vuyisile Jackson Mamokgwe, for multiple rapes that he had, perpetrated against women and children, some in the Bloemfontein area, we understand. And he had been on the run for about 6 years. And Sergeant Peter, having gotten onto the case just last year, managed to crack this case. And he's now been sentenced to 32 years behind bars for raping women and children.